Welcome to Spiridium Circle Talk Radio. I am the host, Reverend Raven Nightclaw HP. We have here the wonderfully talented Miss Britney. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Awesome.
Good morning, afternoon, evening.
All depends on where you're at.
Right.
All right. So blessings to you all. Love and light. Namaste. Now, this is an interview with Britney. We're going to talk about her story, ask some questions, and maybe discuss a few things in between. All right, so Britney, I'd like to know, what is your story?
Oh, boy. I probably noticed that there was something different about me when I was 4, and it followed me throughout life, kind of confused because I didn't have anyone to talk to. And I grew up in a Christian home, and so certain things were kind of like unsure of to discuss with me, but there was definitely something there. Always was a lucid dreamer, always open to seeing different realms, angels and the opposite, the light and the dark, and so I always felt that pull going throughout life.
So were you walking on the fence a whole lot?
Working on what?
No, walking on the fence of light and dark?
Always.
Okay.
Always. So definitely have a outside thinker perspective, was always just very curious about everything and loved to read. So my grandpa used to call me Britannica growing up, and just because I always had the knowledge about something. And it just goes back to being so just traveling in my dreams and being taken to places and then being able to find that information and putting the pieces together in this like whole global scale. So I've always just been an observer, and sometimes it got me in trouble because, like you have to speak out when people aren't being represented well. And definitely been an old soul, very rebellious in high school, but always had a gift of bringing people together.
Oh.
And from different backgrounds.
All right.
This becomes the emotional part. I am a Cancer.
It's totally fine. It's okay.
And it's a full moon.
Well, yes, we're in the midst of a full moon,
Yeah.
and it's super hyper energy right now. A lot of stuff's going on, a lot of shifting, and
yes.
Cancers as well as Pisces and Scorpios get affected in these ways. So it's absolutely fine. I mean, this is the real you. So that's
I cry
so
all the
embrace
time
it. I mean,
about
embrace
everything.
It. Embrace it.
So, anyways, I never really realized it until my cousin died, and then I really started to open my eyes and found out I was pregnant. All these ties were coming together in these divine timings, and these people, and
my sincere condolences to you.
Just so many hurts and happies and just something bigger,
Mm-hmm.
And so I really started to notice and pay mind a little bit more, and just be more open, and find joy back into my heart, because there was a lot of darkness for that first part of life. Just a lot of like inner darkness. And
you're saying
confusion.
That you were like in a dark place in your life? Yeah. I mean, so everybody can relate to this.
Yes.
Talking about being in a dark place, in a funk, kind of thing. Okay.
All right. But just like through circumstances and not understanding or having someone to talk to, feeling safe,
I totally relate.
To talk to, I mean, we experience traumas and hurts and pains, a lot of times brought on by other people, but also like ourselves, we do it too. And
we do it to ourselves.
We do.
At times.
So when my cousin passed away, she was such a bright light, and she just has always placed it on my heart, which it was always there, don't get me wrong.
Right.
I've always been a kind and compassionate person, but not knowing how to
Cope.
there becomes a time where people judge you
Yes.
for the true you, and so you tend to shut down, especially when you're different.
I understand.
And it sticks out. So that brings me to, started with sought out fitness to kind of get my mind right, cleanse some things,
Right.
rebellious nature. I love to definitely very, very interesting young adulthood that I wouldn't wish on anybody to see. A lot of the pain and destruction that alcohol, partying, drugs can bring. So
it can bring a lot of chaos into your life if you're not careful.
And I've seen it do so much damage to people that I love and have lost their life.
I can relate.
Totally preventable,
Okay. Well,
but anyways,
let's kind of let's go off the riff here.
Yeah, let's
change the subject for a brief moment.
Yeah.
And what would you say about your or if you could explain, to the viewers and the listeners here, what would you say about your spirituality or religion if you do have one?
Yeah, so I like I said, I was raised in a Christian home, so that's my basis. But very still, I have a large family, so there's always a lot of questions going on. And me, I've always been just like a lot of strict personal beliefs. Like my mom is very, 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 and I come from old school too, so the older generation,
yes.
But I just observed. So it wasn't good or bad, but when I sat in church, there would be times where things just did not resonate with me. I just did not find, I'm not saying that there wasn't truth. It's just maybe how certain people interpret that, or a matter of fact that, so that just led me on this like journey of always trying to be open and knowing that, I would get these lucid dreams and these things I couldn't explain early on, and so I was aware of that, but I just didn't understand, my curiosity would lead me to just ask questions and just kind of allow it to develop. Started with fitness, my body, and then it moved into just being led into different areas, nutrition in college, and then also double majoring in ethnic studies, which was perfect because I loved history. I've always loved culture. I've always loved people. And I always felt like we are all one, we all came from the one. And so when I,
excuse me,
ethnic studies really helped
it's funny that you say, because this is something I haven't shared with you yet. And Spiridium Circle, my company, Spiridium Circle, its motto, its little hook is "Here we are as one." And you just brought that up. So see how much of a common ground we are, on, and we're clear, we're clear across the United States. I mean, we're thousands of miles away from each other.
I was trying to find this beautiful book that would help me, but
now with that being said, you said that it took you into different directions, brought you to different studies. I mean, what kind of studies aside from college? What kind of studies have you done? Like, what have you learned?
Well, my mentor actually in college gave me a package of books, and I had already at this point met my twin flame and started to, I didn't know what that was conceptually, but the words kept coming up in me, and the 11s kept coming up, and I was having these really intense dreams, and I just felt like it was,
Ascension.
And so I was there, at that point in time. And then I happened to be in a Chicano studies class with mentors and taking Native American studies. So it was really zoning in on me at the perfect time, because we were talking about auras in class and, the spirits of the earth, the animals around us. And this was always there for me because I come from a long lineage of people of the earth, who remember and who were sharing oral history and the history of California natives. And so I already had that there. That led me into finding Reiki. And can you tell me again the correct way to say it?
Reiki?
Reiki. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to start using that. Led me there and to train under a shaman. And that led me to my sister who was on the same path and other people. And I always call it the story of butterflies, which I won't get into it, but it, again,
totally fine. To me, from what you just said, I do a lot of symbolism myself, and talk about totems and symbology. And with butterflies, we're talking about transmutation, transformation, evolution of self, and becoming the better version. So sorry, I just wanted to interrupt there.
No, it's beautiful. It connected me with like women in my community, who, in a common string there. It led me to Truckee, and I was able to work with some Siberian shamans and connect with more of my soul family. And it's just like, which led me to taking NLP with my sister. So
awesome.
And that really helped me break down things that I believed. And well,
also thinking about it, you could actually utilize, even for yourself, neurolinguistics programming to reprogram yourself.
Right.
So yeah, exactly. That works out. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So and just being able to look at things in a way that I was already looking at them, but
now it's also said that you are a tantric practitioner. Is that right by saying that?
Yep.
Now, could you explain a little bit about that? Like, what do you mean by tantric practitioner? What does that involve? Because I know many people get questions. So
usually when we think about tantra, we think about tantric sex in Western culture, and you can use it
even in Eastern societal practices. It's considered a sexual, situation. So yeah, I understand.
And it is because you're working on that area of your body,
sacral area. Yeah.
So, but for me, it's more about the breath work and the meditation and the massage and the way that you flow the energy from, like with Reiki, we go usually from top to bottom, or sometimes, depending if we're led somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with Tantra, you really focus on the root and building that fire and pulling that up through your body and allowing it to consume you.
It's interesting because the way that you're explaining it, we could kind of break it down into like a whole lot of different idealisms and beliefs. The fire, dealing with the root, the root chakra, the base, and things like that. This is really fantastic. I would love to talk to you more about it. And that massage sounds amazing. Maybe one day I go to California, maybe I'll hit you up on that. Get one from you and see how that works out.
Yeah, it's very, very, and it can be depending on you and the client too, because ultimately you are sharing intimate space, but it's sensual. It's not sexual. So I always have to reiterate, as you could reiterate it. But once you have those tools, then it's beautiful when you can open up yourself to yourself,
then be
able to exchange with with your partner.
Well, the partner is different, okay? Because
Yeah.
as you're talking, I'm kind of like getting an image in my head, not like that. But
I've worked with couples. I've worked with couples.
I believe it. And the thing is that there needs to be an understanding. There needs to be a respect between the two individuals, as well as there has to be a comfortable set of boundaries laid out. Absolutely. Understanding the process. I mean, that's just what I got from what you're saying.
Absolutely.
So, so that's great. Now,
so, and there's levels because everybody's in different places, and everybody's dealing with their emotions and their sensuality, their sexuality, like themselves.
And some people find that taboo. There's going to be a lot of people here that are going to be like,
it's life. It's life. It is life. It brings life. Without it, life does not happen.
Yeah,
that's why it's supposed to be beautiful. It's supposed to be the vibration of the earth and how it creates itself.
Now, let me ask you. No, it's fine. No, I really enjoy these spiritual rants. I do. I really do. The one really most integral question here is your connection to source. Okay. When did you first experience a connectivity to your, a higher power, a higher essence, source, the all, divine force, whatever you want to call it? And if you could explain just briefly, if you could explain a little bit of what your experience was in order for others to understand at least your aspect of your experience so they can possibly relate.
Yeah, I was 4. So I was 4 years old, and actually my very first remembrance was when I was 3, and I, had to hash it out with my mom. Like, I remember where my bed was facing and my crib, like to kind of, when you're younger, your memory can sometimes escape you, but this never did, but when I was 4 was probably the first time. It was the first time and the only time in this form since then that I saw an angelic being in my window, and he was, or she, goddess, beautiful, just like light in the window and just massive and like, but not solid form, like light beam, but you could still see, but so clear,
like an iridescent mist.
But shimmery and the flowing hair and like the face coming in and out, but
and the
always
movement.
there.
Yeah, the movement of the energy.
So
awesome.
I remember that, and I mean, what can you say? There's nothing. I had to pinch myself. I was awake because I consciously, I had a Bible by my bedside, and I just grabbed it, and it was a white Bible, and I just, like, it was so bright. I had to get under my covers and is this really happening? And it was. But then I also had a lot of experiences with darker entities at the same time. And I remember as a little one, and it happened probably all the way until I was, I would say 23, 24, when I finally kind of I knew how to deal with it now. I knew how to deal with it, where before it brought me a lot of fear. Because they would, there was this one time in particular, where it was like, I knew it was a little girl, and she was mean-hearted, like so mean-hearted, like telling me these things that were so terrible, and I was just like crying on my bed. And for some reason, my mom, she didn't hear me, but she decided to come check on me. And I was like, oh, thank God, and I just like, she's like, Brittany, why are you sitting on your bed crying? and I jumped into her arms, and she had to go to the bathroom. So I was like, I was trying to explain to her, and so she could pray with me. And she's like, well, where is it? And I could see it peeking around the corner. And she could see it too. And she remembers this to this day. So, and so she prayed with me, but it was always like, again, that light and dark,
Right.
It wasn't until I began to accept the dark and be more understanding to whoever I was open to. So yeah. And then just the way I've interacted with people and
it's just really
non-coincidences over the year.
Well, nothing is coincidence. Everything is a divine plan.
Yeah.
Or preordained. Now, what's really interesting is that we talked briefly before this, and we talked about you said you remotely mentioned, if you will, a business that you have.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So it's called Love Goddess Healing, and it's where I offer services to my clients for Tantra or Reiki, or anything related to nutrition. A lot of times I pull resources from other people that I have in my community, my beautiful sisters and goddesses who I work with. It could be meditation. It could be even as simple as, you create a relationship with people. And so I try to invite people to where I come for healing too, and resources that I know about,
That is the most important part, is building relationships with people.
Angel card readings, just a whole umbrella of things. I also have an online Shopify store. It's under construction right now. I'm adding new products in there. So it's called Love Goddess Healing. I'm going to go check that out. Okay.
So can they contact you on, do you have like a public Facebook profile where they can just go and message you or something if they're looking for anything?
I do not have a public Facebook profile. I do have a couple, I know.
We'll work on that.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
Part of the process.
Yeah. I have some, group pages. You can find me at the House of Inspiration.
Okay. Oh, beautiful. Is that on Facebook?
Yeah. Yes.
House of Inspiration. Okay, you hear that, everybody?
House of Inspiration.
Okay, House of Inspiration on Facebook. You can find her there. Now, you said there's a website. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the website address?
Well, you can either go to my personal one, but I'll give you Love Goddess Healing. So, I have Tibetan sound bowls, lots of beautiful stuff, crystals and fun jewelry. So
you do
put
audio?
Some festival wear on there.
Do you do some
that's what I'm going to do today.
You do audio work too?
What do you mean?
Like audio work, like music and stuff? Just asking.
No, okay. I don't. I know you asked me if I sing, and you're not the first person who's asked me, but I've never.
Well, due to that whole, like, what do you call it? The whole Egyptian lineage goddess, sort of Indian maiden princess kind of vibe that you have, because that is the vibrational, that I get, the vibration I get from you.
Even though I look like a...
I'm not, no, but you can tell.
I'm kidding, yeah.
No, if you're able to scan people,
yeah.
That's the first thing that I get. Well, the first few things that I get is those.
Yeah. I have my beautiful feathers behind me. I should have worn my...
Should have got all done up like Pocahontas.
Nah. I just came from a run and I want to work out. So,
like I said, no worries. It's great, and I'm honored and grateful, to be able to have you here. And thank you again for allowing me to record you. For the radio talk show, video talk show, same difference. So it's Love Goddess. Okay, just so everybody knows.
LoveGoddessHealing.com.
Yeah, Love
Love
Goddess
Goddess Healing. Forward.
Yeah, .com. Okay, so you can check her out there. And again, you can just check her out on House of Inspiration on Facebook. Excellent, excellent. There's if you were to say, and this is going to be like the final words here, a little outro here. If you were to say anything to the viewers or listeners about something inspirational or something that really hit home for you, what would that be?
Just trust yourself. I think that was the biggest thing.
Excellent, excellent. All
just
right.
Trusting myself, just like trusting that this was the path. This was the journey.
And the other thing, I mean, I would like to add to that is that trusting oneself can be quite a challenge at times. You can feel stuck, on your path. You can feel like there's a void, like somewhat of an emptiness. That's usually when it comes to spiritual sort of practices. And I make it a point to let everyone know that you're not alone. You're not alone in feeling like that. There are tens of thousands and millions of people on this earth, our great Mother Earth, that are just waking up or in the process of just waking up. And that is what we are here for, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So
you could be awoke and still
be stuck.
Be stuck. I was stuck all last week.
Yeah.
I was just like, and it happens.
Well, did you feel the shift? Did you feel the shift last week? Like there was some kind of like really weird energy. I mean, I slept on and off for a whole day. Okay, and I'm saying I had the luxury of doing that. Okay, I know a lot of people don't have that. But, with our community, I mean, that shift was strong. I mean, really, really strong. It was to the point where I felt like every single essence, like my life force was, well, not all of it. I was still alive, obviously. But most of it was removed, cleaned, and then sent back into me.
Yeah.
I mean, like throughout the entire day. Can you relate to that?
Yeah, I slept all day Saturday and I'm still like totally congested. I didn't do a thing. I was so lethargic. Right. And then Sunday, I was able to, I don't know how, but I was like, I got to get up. I got to start to move, And so yesterday, better, again, cleansing out just a whole bunch of junk. Thank you. So I can enjoy this crazy moon in Scorpio. It's my favorite.
I am one.
I know. There you go. It's my favorite.
It's my very powerful. It's a very powerful
Scorpio
day for Scorpios.
Moon.
Yeah. Very, very powerful day for Scorpios.
And we feel it for you. I'm like,
Yeah, you guys are the amplifiers. That's for darn sure. Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up. Again, Britney, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, for sitting in and allowing me to record this interview with you.
Yeah.
I even found out a few things about you that I didn't know, so I very, very much appreciate that. I definitely, again, want to thank you for your time. I want to thank the listeners, okay, and the viewers for checking this out.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Okay. I just want to give a big shout out to three specific people. One is my daughter, Kelsey. Even though, I mean, she's awake, but yet she's still going through her own stuff. Okay, she is a 19-year-old young lady. She's doing great. She is absolutely adorable, and I wish her the very best. The second one is Source, of course. I mean, thank you, universe, divine force, for allowing me to do what I do, as well as all the people in my life that give me the unconditional love that I accept to receive. Kind of emotional, just I don't know.
It's okay. I say yes to all of it.
Okay.
Yes
But
to all of
again,
it. And the crying was good for me because now I get to continue clearing my sinuses.
The purge.
The purge of all the gunk.
not the movie The Purge. Okay, we're talking about the purge.
It's in my sinuses, in my nose.
We're not going to get into too much graphic detail on that.
Not.
So
we're
on
not.
that note, guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. Blessings to you all. Love and light. Namaste. This is Healing Life from Within. Until next time, may you be blessed, may you be abundant, and may you be filled with unconditional love, eternal. See you guys.